The Bloomberg Players Technology Summit is underway in San Francisco. That's bringing together some of the biggest names in sports, business, and tech. With the NBA season on hiatus, players use it as a chance to reflect on some of the lessons they've learned. And we are joined by one of the featured guests, NBA All-Star and three-time NBA champion for Golden State Warriors, Andre Iguodala. Thanks so much for being with us. I guess I have to start by saying, as somebody who lives in Toronto, I was not cheering for the Golden State Warriors in the finals. But we can agree, based on your performance and others, that the fans were the real winners here. And I guess one of the big questions that many people have is what your future with the Warriors looks like. Can you tell us anything about that?
Well, I have a year left on my contract, and then there's a lot of movements that are going to occur with our team within the next week. So we'll see what happens. And the future still looks bright for the Golden State Warriors. And as far as I'm a part of it, looking forward to it.
And I want to ask you, one of the key issues, obviously, certainly in these finals, but it's come up before. You've talked about it recently as you've been on this, what people are calling a truth tour, Andre, is the treatment of Kevin Durant and his injury. Was there enough care taken in that case and with you in the past about injured players in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, yes, most definitely. I think that's always been the case. I've always reiterated that we have the best training staff, not just in the NBA, but in sports. And historically, we've had that while I've been with this organization. So always confident. My statement was more of the mindset the athlete has in terms of a lot of noise that goes on with injuries and how that can have an effect on the mentality of a player and his safety going out there. But as far as our organization goes, we've always been on the same page. And we always know that we're in the best hands when we go out there.
And of course, we have seen more movement in sports to track players' health. We're talking about heart rate biometrics, sleep, nutrition, and so forth. How do you see this playing out, and where do you stand on this?
Well, for one, injuries are always going to happen in sports. That's just in general. When you look at the human body, and we put our bodies on the line every game, so they're going to happen. And I think you're seeing less and less of them with the technology we have today. You're seeing players come back from career injuries. At one point it was the meniscus, it was the quad or ACL tears. You couldn't come back to true form from those injuries in the past, but now you're seeing guys come back within a year, coming back to their peak potentials, and they're extending their careers as well. So technology has played a big part in that. The way that the organizations are caring about our players, the way that our leagues and our unions are caring about our players, you're seeing our players in a better space than they've ever been before.
Any concern over the negative impact of that sort of technology, whether it's, say, during contract negotiations or perhaps commercial sale of that data and being used for legal sports betting?
Well, that's interesting. I'm glad you brought up that point, in terms of player safety and how that data goes into sports betting, and they want to disclose everything, or they want all the information to be given to everyone. I think you always have to treat the game with a sensitivity, if that's the right word. And there's sports and then there's business, and the two have to be combined, or else we wouldn't be able to be blessed with some of the financial side of things. But at the same time, you don't want the business to outweigh the game. You don't want to change the game solely for business purposes. You have to have a special care for the game.
And one place you might say that's coming up a little bit, Andre, that your team is moving from Oakland to San Fran. There's a concern, and we saw this in the postseason ticket price for Raptors tickets, about fans being priced out of this sport. Where is the balance between those two things? Owners and teams want to make money, but you want to keep it accessible.
Yes, well, I try to have a great understanding for both sides, and I definitely, being an investor, I have that understanding that you have a fiduciary responsibility as a CEO, as a CFO to appease your shareholders. And at the same time, being within the sport, being an athlete and interacting with the fans more than any other of the figures within the basketball realm. I hear it a lot, whether I'm on the golf course, whether I'm out and about with the family, about people who truly love the game and they haven't been able to get to the games as much as they used to.
Right.
We do have a few things in there where we have tickets allotted for organizations to get kids into games. But
All right.
you know, it's something we're going to continue to work on with our fans.